Cassie Hicks here from Modern Marketing Spark and the Social Media Success Group. I've got some Facebook updates for you that I'm really excited to share. So these are updates for Facebook for June and July 2019. This is hot off the press and this has come directly from Facebook too. So I was on a call yesterday. I'm really honored. I've been recognized by Facebook as a community leader, and we have various meetings. I've been to Brussels, I've been to their headquarters in London a few times. And we get invited on conference calls and to meetings and things with the Facebook team. So there are people there from Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, all the different, the ads people. So it's really exciting. And one thing I love about Facebook, they're very interested in the small business community. So they rely on us, their community leaders, to ask them questions, to feedback, to, flag up anything that anyone's struggling with. So if you've got any questions or challenges with Facebook, let me know. I can feed that back to them. We've got a private group that we hang out in as well. So yesterday we had a session with one of the account managers at Facebook who was answering some of the questions that we've raised in our private group and also sharing some new things that are coming up. So I thought I need to share this with my group. So let's just jump in without further ado. I've got 2 pages of notes here from the call yesterday. So one of the things that I'm really excited about, now this is something that's been talked about, but there's a definite launch date coming now in July, is that from July there's a new feature. You're hearing it here first. The DMs, the direct messaging and Instagram are going to feed into your Facebook business page messages. So where you get your messages, I can't even speak. Where you get your messages in your Facebook Messenger, you're going to be able to feed your DMs, your direct messages from Instagram in there, which I don't know about you. I think when I mentioned this before that this might be coming, most people were pretty happy about it. If you're a die-hard Instagrammer, then I believe you can still keep it separate. But if you're like me and you're juggling multiple different inboxes and messaging systems, I love the idea I like to keep things really, really simple. I love the idea of having it all in one place. So your Facebook business page inbox is going to be the central repository now for PMs and DMs, which I think that's amazing. So that's coming up in July. There's also a new feature, which some of you may have played around with, some of you may not, called Facebook Premiere. And what this allows you to do, and we're actually just about to test it with a client today actually, what this allows you to do is to queue up pre-recorded videos and then show them as if they're live. So it's almost like you can share pre-recorded video as live streaming. Oh, thanks for the thumbs up. I don't even know who's here. Say hi in the comments, I know who's here, but someone's given me a thumbs up. So you're going to be using Facebook Premiere, you're going to be able to, it's almost like scheduling a live. And I remember probably a year or so ago talking to a new client or a new potential client, and they said, well, I want to be able to pre-record my lives. And I said, well, that sort of defeats the whole purpose of having a live stream. The whole point is you go live because you're live and you can interact with people. But there's now this new feature where you can, so what you could do, and again, so we're about to test this with a client, I'll be testing this with some of my things as well for Modern Marketing Spark, is you could go live, you'll then get the video afterwards, you can then get another bite of the cherry by using Premiere to then live stream that video that you've recorded. So yeah, there's lots of different things you can do. Some of you have probably seen watch parties. Watch parties is when you bring people together and you watch things together. And a really powerful tip is that when you've live streamed is to then have a watch party, because what Facebook does the heavy lifting for you. It goes out and finds people that it thinks will be interested in your topic based on their behaviors and based on the people that interact on your page. So you can use a combination of, there's 4 things, aren't there, you can really use to boost your engagement on Facebook. Now you've got videos, you've got live streaming, you've got watch parties, and now you've got Premiere as well. And Premiere is bringing that combination of the pre-recorded video and the live streaming. So how powerful is that? So, take a big step back. If you're not using video in your business, start using videos, make sure you're live streaming, use the tools that we're getting. Facebook gives you all these tools. You can live stream on Instagram, you can live stream on LinkedIn. Facebook's always one step ahead with all the new bells and whistles and fun things. So yeah, have a look at Facebook Premiere. We're going to be using that. So you'll see some examples of me using that. And hi, if you're just joining the call, let me know in the comments who is here. Something else that was mentioned that was interesting. I still feel very skeptical about this personally, but I'm going to just pass on what Facebook told us yesterday. This is the official line from Facebook, that you can use scheduling apps and your posts, the reach on your posts will not be affected. They actually said that very clearly, black and white. If you want to use scheduling apps, as far as the official party line from Facebook yesterday, not a problem. Personally, we schedule everything within Facebook. I'm so used to doing that now. I am not a fan of scheduling stuff onto Facebook. I think you're better to be using the native, scheduling things from native, within their own apps. But they said yesterday that if you want to use scheduling tools, knock yourself out. The only bit of bad news yesterday was about the pixels in groups, because one thing that a lot of us had asked for in our community leaders group was about being able to pixel groups so that you could track activity and who does what in the group, using the Facebook pixels. Unfortunately, that has been canned, so that's not going to happen. But you've got group insights. There are more tools for group leaders. So if you've got a Facebook group that you manage, there are lots of tools. You've got tool under the management section and under the insights to see what's going on. The only other thing you can do is to use what's called Facebook attribution. And this is where it starts to get a bit more complicated, but Facebook attribution is where you can see the impact of what you do on Facebook on things like your website. So this is it's a more advanced way of tracking. So what they were saying is they're not going to have a pixel for groups, but you can use the attribution. If you have a specific reason or purpose behind wanting to track at a more granular level the activity in your group, you can use Facebook attribution for that. And you'll also you can see all those different touch points. But personally, it's a bit like using Google Analytics but within Facebook. We had a really interesting discussion yesterday. Someone had asked the question, if you're on a low budget, let's say $10, €10 a day, £10 a day for advertising, what's the best way to get the biggest bang for your buck on that sort of a budget? Because a lot of people do start with £10, €10, $10 a day. Facebook wise today, that is a low budget. So they actually Kaylin suggested 3 different strategies. And what's really interesting, I've got a program called the Client Attraction Code, which is my Facebook ad program. So I'm going to teach those 3 strategies in that if I already have taught them in that program. So I'm not going to go through them here because it's quite hard to explain ad strategy on a live. It's something you need to see the screen, you need to actually share the screen, look over my shoulder. So if you're interested in the best 3 strategies to get the biggest bang for your buck for your €10, pounds, dollars a day, definitely check out the Client Attraction Code, my Facebook ad program. That's the place where I teach you how to run ads, teach you about remarketing, teach you about building your own custom audiences, and I teach you some of these strategies. This is what you do first, this is what you do second. So what's interesting, some of you will know this if you run ads. If you're running a conversion ad, so that's when you want a conversion, so you want someone to become a subscriber or you want someone to become a customer. So there's a conversion process. So there are ads that you can run called conversion ads. What a lot of people don't realize though, and this is where you can waste a lot of money if you're not careful, to run conversion ads effectively, Facebook's looking for 50 events a week. So what that means is, let's say you're you set up an ad and your goal is to have 50 customers, let's say, sorry, your ad is to get customers for your online program. If you want to run a conversion ad effectively, you've got to make sure, you've got to know you're going to have 50 customers a week, so 50 conversions a week. It doesn't have to be 50. I've seen it written 25 to 50, but they did mention, Facebook did say yesterday that 50 is, you know, the minimum that they're looking for. So what that means is if you're running a conversion ad, and conversion ads are more expensive than the other types of ads anyway, if you're running a conversion ad and let's say you're only getting 8 customers or 15 customers coming through, that's not enough data for Facebook to give you the best results. Facebook needs 50 conversions, whatever that conversion is that you're tracking, a week to really feed its, you know, algorithms and things. So what I would suggest instead is to use traffic instead of conversion. So again, this is all things that I cover in the client attraction code, but if you're running ads, if what I'm saying makes sense to you, then think about, if you're not getting your 50 conversions a week, go forward or go up a step in the funnel, if you like, and start with traffic, and then when you get that volume, then you can go to conversions. Otherwise you could be pumping a lot of money in and just not getting results. Facebook actually, Kaylin shared a really useful formula too for calculating how much minimum daily spend you need on your ads to get the 50 conversions. Again, I'm not going to go through that now because it's not going to make sense if I just talk through a formula, but I will be showing that in the client attraction code. But there is a really useful little rule of thumb formula that they shared yesterday on how to calculate what your daily spend should be. I calculated for one of our clients, their minimum daily spend is £14 a day for the type of campaign that we're running for them. And it's interesting because we always go between 10 to 15 to 20. So using their calculation, it came up at 14. So just really useful to know that, so, right, we can't go below £14 a day. Otherwise, again, there's not enough data to feed the ads. Okay, so if you've got questions on the ads, let me know. Let's talk about creatives for ads. We talked a lot about creatives for ads yesterday. The images, the creatives that you use for your ad are so important. And in fact, we were talking about this in the Social Media Accelerator program this week. There's different metrics to track when you run ads, and there's just 3 key ones that we track to make sure the ads are working effectively. And one of those 3 metrics is your click-through rate. So you want to make sure your click-through rate is as it should be. And it was interesting, they were talking on the call yesterday about how to increase your click-through rate with your creatives. And what they were talking about is aligning your creatives with your audience's interests, which might sound obvious, but sometimes, you know, you see ads and the images have got nothing to do with whatever it is the ad's promoting. So what they're saying is what they're seeing at Facebook is a big correlation between aligning your creatives with your audience interests. And what we found with our own testing with my business and with our clients through the agency side of my business is that if you align your creatives with what we call the towards, so rather than showing pictures of what people don't want, you want to show pictures of what people do want. And just to give you an example, there was a member of the Social Media Accelerator program last year who was running a program about weight loss or eating disorders with women, I think it was. And they'd gone to someone to put their ads together for them. And what this person had come up with was pictures of really overweight people stuffing their faces with, you know, big chocolate eclairs and, you know, all the stuff that you wouldn't eat if you were trying to manage your weight. And it was just so, it was a, you know, nobody wants to see those pictures, do they? So what they needed to do, I mean, this was my advice, and this sort of what they went off to do, was to have pictures of, maybe you don't have pictures of skinny models, but you have pictures of what people aspire to, which is health and being vibrant and looking good, whatever your natural size, age, all the rest of it. So find creatives that feed that aspiration that your audience have. So find images that portray what people want, where they want to be, what they want to be doing, the lifestyle that they want, what it is they aspire to, not the, you know, people with their heads in their hands looking really frazzled, or say people stuffing their faces with chocolate eclairs or whatever it might be. So again, it sounds, in a way, it sounds obvious, but when you look at a lot of ads that are being run, it, you know, there's a clear message that not everybody gets this. So I hope that's helpful. A new feature as well, which is, you can use this now on for Facebook and Instagram. A new feature is polling. So this is where you put together a poll, and you can use this on your Facebook feed, your Facebook stories. I think that's new, having the poll on Facebook stories. You can use it on Instagram stories. And what Facebook are finding is the more you can use these tools that help you to, hi Melanie, interact with your audience, the better. So, you know, you've got all the classic things like asking questions, but use the poll feature. That's a hot tip from Facebook from our from our call yesterday. So use the poll feature in stories. I mean, that we've been doing that for a while. That works really well. You can either have a picture of something and say, you know, yes if you like it, no if you don't. You could, you know, you can ask questions. Where are you going on a holiday this summer? But use that polling feature. That is a hot tip. And there's more things you can do with the polls now. So Facebook are adding more features, particularly for Instagram stories. As I say, you can use that polling feature on Facebook stories now as well. So Facebook stories are catching up with Instagram stories. They're not as great, they're not as fun, but you know, they're starting to get there. And I know a lot of people who are having quite a lot of success with Facebook stories because not as many people are using them. So you've got less functionality, but also less crowded on that platform. Whereas Instagram stories, everybody's jumped into an Instagram story. So you've got the volume of people, but that means it's just noisier, isn't it? Whereas on Facebook stories, less crowded, less features, but use the features that are there. A question that came up was about linking your group and your page, your Facebook page with your group. Probably not surprisingly, Facebook say, yes, you should do it. It's a great thing. I've heard both sides of it. The reason that Facebook say that it's a good idea to link your Facebook page with your group is because you've got the combined engagement and capacity of both of those entities. So you've got your page as your shop front, and someone asked the question, you know, a page is going out of fashion, should we just put all our energy into our groups now and not worry about our Facebook pages? And they said no, absolutely not, because your Facebook page is your shop front. If you're going to run ads, they're going to go through your page. A lot of the features on Facebook, like your insights, live streaming, lots of, you know, your video library, which is really a powerful marketing tool, that all runs through your page. So the message from Facebook is don't neglect your page. Your page is still really important. But if you link your Facebook page to your group, you've got a double whammy. You've got the engagement in the group and the engagement in the page, and you're getting extra oomph in terms of your Facebook marketing. So I don't know, I'd love to know from you guys, do you have your page and your group connected? Do you find that's a good thing? Do you find it's a bad thing? I like the fact that someone can come to my page and really, you know, you can just click straight through to the group, and when you're in the group you can see the page. I like the fact they're connected, but I know I have seen people recently saying Don't do it. You know, it's affecting your reach. Don't do it. Sound. Now, I don't know if anyone's noticed. I saw this the other day, actually. Facebook have added a sound library. So how cool is that? So you've got your video library on your Facebook page, which is user generated. So when you go live streaming or when you put a video in, that goes in your video library. But Facebook have added a sound library, which is a bit like the stock photos that you can use in the ads manager. So what Facebook always say, I've heard this so many times, create for sound off, but delight with sound on. Now, something like 80% of people who watch videos on Facebook watch with the sound off, which is why it's really important to have captions on your videos. But apparently, and this is really interesting, 60% of people on Instagram stories have their sound on. So how interesting is that? So if you're on the Instagram feed or the Facebook feed, most people, 80% of the sound is off. So you need your subtitles and images that show what you're talking about. But on stories, Instagram stories, 60% of people have the sound on. So interesting little tip from Facebook there to think about the sound. So if you go into your Facebook page, you can find a sound library. You can actually make, if you do a slideshow video or if you're uploading, you know, your own material, you can use their sound library to zoop things up. So create for sound off, but delight with sound on. Give it a go and let me know. I'd love to know in the social media success group or here on the Mod Marketing Spark page. Are you using sound on your Instagram stories? So what have we learned today then? We have learned that we're going to be able to get our Instagram DMs in our Facebook page inbox soon, which I think is brilliant. Facebook Premiere. We've got some new strategies for our $10 a day. We've got a great formula for calculating minimum daily spend for our ads, which is really, really useful. We are going to think carefully about our creatives in terms of aspirational creatives for our ads. We are also going to use the polling feature on our stories. We possibly are going to link our group and our page. That's up to you. And we're going to think about sound, particularly if we're using Instagram stories. So any questions, guys? That is a quick run through of all the exciting things and the hot tips and trends from Facebook and Instagram. Just while I wait and see if there's any questions, I'm running an Instagram Kickstarter. So following on from the challenge that we had last week, if you would like to implement some of the things in the challenge, if you want to go a bit deeper, if you actually want to go through that process with a group, with my support, come and join the Kickstarter. We start the week of the 3rd of July. I'm going to move house first and then we're going to start. I know it's Independence Day in the States that week, so I might need to, maybe we'll just have one on the 3rd and then we'll have a gap. But we start on the 3rd of July with the Instagram Kickstarter. Everything's recorded, so if you want to join, if you want that support, if you want to be part of the group, sign up. It's half price at the moment until the end of June. Join the program, you get lifetime access, and it's just going to be fun. Because I know when you do these challenges, quite often people do the first one or two and then, you know, life takes over. And so many people have messaged me and said, oh, I was really enjoying your challenge, but I only got to day 3 or I got to day 4 and I still need to, you know, so many people said, I still need to catch up. I still need to catch up. So let's do it together. Let's just go through the challenge and more, but we're going to do it together to build up your Instagram following. And then what I want to show you what to do is to get those DMs, which is where you're going to start getting new clients, is by using your Instagram, your feed and your stories to get the DMs to then get the clients. That's basically the process I'm going to show you. So we're going to go through that together. You're going to learn how to apply the steps to your unique business. and it's just going to be really fun. And we're going to use some of these things. We're going to use polling, we're going to use sound in stories, and I've got lots of other fun things I want to share with you too. And we're all going to do it together, so it's going to be good fun. We'll do some more boosting as well. Okay guys, if there aren't any questions, I'll close there. Thanks for joining, those of you that were live. If you're watching this on replay, let me know if you've got questions, and look forward to hearing how you get on with all of these features. Guys, have a brilliant weekend, and I will speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.